No problem. I still got plan C. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yo! What is going on? This is the Plan C podcast, coming at you with lovely Super Bowl recap with AJ. We recorded this not last night, but Sunday night. As soon as the game was over, we hopped right on. Wanted to just get something good out, capture our real feelings on it. I didn't hide the fact that I was supporting the Chiefs just because, liked the history and all that, but doesn't matter. Eagles win. Congrats, Eagles fans. Wasn't an amazing game just in terms of being a spectator, but, still pretty cool for the Eagles to win their second total Super Bowl, and happy for Jalen Hurts, just such a cool guy, cool quarterback. And yeah, congrats, Philly. Hope you soak it in. Make sure you are liking, sharing, subscribing, following us on Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Check us out. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for listening. Let's get into it. And we are back. Congratulations again to the Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles. Wasn't much of a game, unfortunately, if you are a neutral. But if you're an Eagles fan, you will take it either way. Super exciting for the Eagles. They get their second, since 2017. Jalen Hurts gets his first. AJ Brown gets his first. All these players of this new generation get their first. Joined by AJ. AJ, what's going on, man?
What's up, Colin?
I bet on the Chiefs. I lost. I wore a Kendrick Lamar tour shirt and red pants. And I enjoyed the Kendrick show. I didn't actually think that he would call Drake a pedophile in front of 200 million people, but life will surprise you. And yeah, just Eagles fans, congratulations. You got it. Yeah, I'm chilling though. This is life.
There you go. You're not overly invested, right, as a Saints fan?
Honestly, no. Like it was like Zach Bond having a great interception, and Jalen Carter just doing shit left and right. That was a little bit like, oh God, and them doing it in our home stadium. Not amazing, but this is part of life. The Saints have been good for almost as long as I've been a football fan, and this is just bound to happen. They were bound to revert to the mean, and so let's not make this about the Saints. I think we need to start with the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Just a really, really dominating performance by them. And even though the run game was almost non-existent for a large part of the game, they still really got it done.
Saquon.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. Jalen Hurts was tearing it up, 6.5 per rush and a touchdown. But yeah, Saquon, 25 rushes for 57 yards, 2.3 per carry. Not amazing, but it didn't matter. Mahomes, three total turnovers on the day. Just getting killed left, right, and center. 6 sacks. He's gonna get killed, and rightly so, for some of these plays, especially some of the interceptions. But this was just, for me, a talent diff. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was surprising. I did not expect. I mean, I was an Eagles better. I was an Eagle hopeful. But I think I was probably on record last pod saying close to 100% chance that the Chiefs win the game. Now, it was impressive right off the rip. I mean, what did the Chiefs went into halftime with, 38 yards, total yards?
It wasn't great.
Patrick Mahomes looks horrible. It was very obvious that the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo really focused on taking away Saquon Barkley and had no answers for anything else. That was their focus. That
But
was
I think that's a very valid like
it was a good
defensive
game
way
plan.
to set up.
It's a good
Yeah.
game plan. Yes.
Just execution was severely lacking.
Yes. I didn't expect it to go down like this. You texted me right before the game and said you may have fucked up.
Yeah, the
after you
Eagles just
saw
had
it.
aura. I don't know.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was very impressive. Final score, if you're just a box score watcher, it's gonna look closer than it actually was. It was not close whatsoever.
No.
Uh, Eagles pulled their starters, put in Kenny Pickett, went for it on fourth down at the 50-yard line, let up practically a Hail Mary, made it look much closer than it really was. In my eyes, the final score was 40-6.
That's yeah, and it really felt like that. The Chiefs got really just ran off the field. I would
Nick
say.
Sirianni was getting his Gatorade bath with almost 3 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
So
Did you have yellow Gatorade?
I did not take it. I should have. I would have gone yellow.
Mm.
That's all. That's all there really is in football. No, I've never. Maybe purple. I don't even know what the options were. Didn't
There's
do too
always
many
the
novelty
white
bets.
Gatorade.
The white Gatorade is pretty bomb. The white cherry.
I do like it.
Yeah, it was impressive, man. Very
Yeah.
impressive. Not an entertaining game, but as a Chiefs hater, I was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, no, that's fair. As a three-peat enjoyer, and a history enjoyer, I mean, again, I said last week I am supporting the Chiefs. But after the pick six, I mean, at 17-0, it was kind of like, oh shit, because if there's one thing that the Eagles just really, really, really excelled at, it was playing with a lead. And didn't matter that Saquon wasn't doing it. When they needed a big run, Jalen Hurts would just tune up and boom, like 17-yard run on like 3rd and 15. It felt like.
And the Chiefs defense played pretty fantastic. I'll give
Yeah.
them credit. Like it was just the offense couldn't do jack shit.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
very early on, Jalen Hurts getting pressure up the middle, interior pressure, like you said, you talked about it. It was a problem. I mean, that's what caused his one and only interception, his one and only turnover for the game. Yeah, very strange game indeed.
Honestly, the best unit in the game for me is the Eagles' defensive line. Just I mean, it felt like I was watching, Chiefs Buccaneers, just where the Chiefs' offensive line. I mean, it looked like they were in college some of the time. They could not block. They could not pick up blitzes. Mahomes seemed to just hold on to the ball for too long in too many different occasions. And I don't know. I think that once Mahomes, throws 2 picks in the first half, and then the Eagles can kind of just pin their ears back, and you don't even necessarily have to worry about the rush that much because they're so far behind. I total win by the defensive line of the Eagles. Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter,
Milton
Zach
Williams.
Bond, Williams. Just
Milton Williams, in my opinion, should have been the MVP. 2 sacks, forced fumble, constant pressure up the middle. A D tackle was never going to win MVP. That's never going to happen. Jalen Hurts, he had a good case too. Yeah.
well, yeah, he won it.
Yeah, I'm saying he had a understandable case for it, right?
Yeah.
Like who was it? Mahomes that won last year when it clearly should have been Harrison Butker. Like Mahomes didn't do shit. It's a quarterback more often than not.
Well, yeah,
But,
I was surprised that Cooper DeJean didn't win it because they love to give it to the defensive player who scores the touchdown in the blowout game.
to the white guys.
No, I was thinking about Malcolm Smith in
Yeah.
Seahawks Broncos.
Yeah.
Re-examine your biases, AJ.
My bad. You just don't see many white DBs, dude. I love to see it.
I had multiple people text me at the pick six, and I said best white cornerback in the league.
No, it's Riley Moss. Got a couple of them right now. Colin,
Yeah,
you gotta re-examine your
white
biases.
white DBs going
Making a
ham.
comeback.
Yeah, Reed Blankenship. Hello,
Yep. Eagles got two of them.
2-time Super Bowl champion now.
No, it was impressive. Very interesting game. Not an entertaining game by any means. I very shocked by how poorly the Chiefs played, but then again, kind of not because they weren't all that good. They're probably the worst 15-2 team, 2-loss team, I should say.
I was gonna
that
say,
I've
yeah,
seen.
we I don't know if we've ever had a 15-2 team.
They haven't been good all year. They've been very undeserving of that of their record. I mean, they were undefeated for the longest time until the Bills took them out. But neither here nor there. You text me and said we can finally get rid of the narrative, the ref narrative. I'll believe it when I
Yes,
see it for a full season. But yes, seemed like there was a very clear, deliberate effort early on. Right, there was one bad call, a hold on, or an offensive PI on AJ Brown on the first drive. That would have set them up the field goal range. After that, Chiefs weren't getting any calls.
it really felt like from minute one that I don't know, that the Eagles just were in control. Whether it was, the catch to AJ Brown, which, as you just mentioned, whether it was that was unfairly, called OPI, or, when the Chiefs got just multiple penalties on third downs that just really fucked them. And yeah, no, just Eagles start to finish, as I texted you, like right in the beginning. Like it really just felt like, as you mentioned, that I don't know, Eagles from the get-go. No call narrative dead, like you said, which I don't know. I didn't think that. I just thought there were mistakes, there were mistakes and there were some legitimate calls. So it always felt kind of like the league is not gonna, fuck itself over, when by like having this whole like, oh, let's have the Chiefs win. Like, does Mahomes get favoritism? Yeah, hell yeah. But like all the best fucking quarterbacks get favoritism. Not nearly on the degree that Mahomes does, but I don't know. I will be happy to hear the end of this nonsense. Not that it's nonsense necessarily. Again, I think there are mistakes, but like
Until next season.
yeah, we'll fucking see. He'll
Good
get
quarter.
one. He'll get one fucking roughing the passer, and then people will be like, "Oh, blah."
It's-
But the
it's-
Eagles hit the shit out of him. The Eagles hit the shit out of him, and the refs swallowed their whistles.
They let it go. Yes, they had to. Okay, look, it's more than just that, though. I mean, there's legitimate reason for criticism, I believe, but they already had that controversial ending to the AFC Championship game. They came into it. Everybody was making comments about it. Goodell had a comment on it. Talked about this last podcast. If they came into the Super Bowl and continued that, people were going to be loud. Most watched game of the year. People were going to cause issues. So I'm glad it didn't happen. Glad they cooled it a bit, but I'm not going to say it's over. I'll believe it when I see it, Colin. I'll believe it when I see it.
That's fair. So Eagles, they go to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and they come back and have two really fucking great drafts because the core is largely the same. The offensive line is the same. You still have Smith. You still have AJ Brown. You just added Saquon. You added Jalen Carter. You added N'Kobe Dean, Cooper DeJean. All these players just really played their part, not only in this game, but this season. So I think, a lot of credit needs to go to the Eagles front office. Howie Roseman, you fucking did it again, dude. Like, congrats. I think that they took risks, drafting Jalen Carter, keeping Nick Sirianni, because at the end of last season, I think it would have been very defensible to fire him because things fucking fell apart. Yeah, I think they deserve so much credit. And I think this is the one time in my life I'm going to do this, but the Eagles fans really showed up. You could hear it on TV. You could hear it in the player intros. There was so much booing for the Chiefs. There was so much cheering for the Eagles. That was. I think that's always cool to see. And I know I'm not the biggest fan of Eagles fans, just because they're known to be very rude to away fans, but I think it was cool of them to show up as big as they did. And you'd think like, oh, Kansas City, that's that's fucking closer to New Orleans. Like, surely there'd be at least even. No, it wasn't even. Like, I would say it was like 70-30 from the sound. So yeah, you ready to rip the Chiefs apart?
Of course.
Okay. I think we have to start at Mahomes. And I think there's an argument to be made that his offensive line really let him down, but he was also bad. I don't necessarily know if he could have done many things. Like, if these two teams played 10 times, like it really feels like the Eagles win a lot of the games. I don't know. Mahomes, 2 first half picks, not good. Just really forcing things, but he was missing, but there were also a couple drops here and there. Kelsey, not good.
Yes. D-Hop.
D-Hop, awful drop. Awful drop.
Zero run game.
Yeah, 0 run game.
He was a leading rusher with like 9 yards.
Yeah. No, I just and I don't know. It felt like there was just lots of RPO. And I think maybe they knew that, hey, I don't think we're going to be able to run the fucking football, because it felt like they tried to keep the Eagles off balance early. Bunch of play action as well, have Mahomes roll out right, but that didn't work. Their offensive line couldn't hold up. Who gets the biggest piece of blame pie for this loss?
I gotta put it on the run game. I mean, well, their offensive line, I guess, is kind of hand in hand with the run game. Juwan Taylor, I think, his ass. They got Joe Thuney playing left tackle because they didn't have anybody else to play there, so their offensive line was already kind of out of sorts coming into the game.
Shuffled as fuck.
Though. Very reminiscent of the 2020 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. He was just running for his life. I do think it's like all hand in hand. Like, yes, Patrick Mahomes did not play well, but yeah, dude was running for his life. Had no run game. You can kind of put some of that on the offensive line as well, and then his receivers. I mean, outside of Xavier Worthy,
they just disappeared.
I mean, it's kind of been the thing. Like, right, all year they were looking for number one wide receiver. D-Hop, he's just not that anymore. Not even close. Travis Kelce, I think, dropped off quite a bit.
Hollywood Brown was injured. Juju is not a number 1, not a number 2, maybe a number 3, maybe.
Yes. So, I mean, you can only do so much. That being said, I want to reiterate that yes, Mahomes played pretty bad. You're gonna go look at the stats. The stats are gonna look a little bit better because of those last 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. But game was over. Game was out of reach. All right, so he finished the game with 250, 3 touchdowns. But Again, one of them was on that 50-yard Hail Mary touchdown. And I mean, you can't really nitpick, cherry pick stats, but in my opinion, he had 1 touchdown and 3 turnovers when the game was important still.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he wasn't just stat padding. So I don't know.
Yeah. I
I have
think
not seen any criticism for Andy Reid in the play calling either. Play calling was pretty rough.
I just don't know what he could have done.
He worked with what he had, I guess.
I think this was just like such a talent diff. And I think the Chiefs were not able to anticipate the level of fucked up they would get by this Eagles defensive front.
I think it's fair to say that this is probably the worst. I'd have to go look, but probably the worst offensive performance I can remember in a Super Bowl. Stat wise, you're not going to see it.
I don't know. That Broncos Seahawks game was really
okay.
bad.
Peyton Manning, the 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
24,
Well, at least they had CJ Anderson. It was 2014. He retired in 2015, so it must have been the 2014 season. But CJ Anderson at least played well that game. Like Denver's supporting cast wasn't bad. Like this, yes, Peyton was pretty brutal. I have to go look at the box score there, but this is pretty bad. It looks better in final stat wise, but covered up a little bit, but not good, Colin. Not good.
Yeah, no, not good at all. Oh, you know what? Worst offensive performance. Rams against the Patriots.
Okay, yes.
When Jared Goff was just put in jail. And I mean, that was a closer game because the Rams defense was also actually very talented. Should have been the Saints. Whoa, who said that? Anyway.
Me. I said it too. No, recency bias, I'm gonna say this is the worst.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And again, I think a lot of the problems that plagued them in, the 2020 Super Bowl just like really repeated themselves here. And if I'm the Chiefs, like, you haven't had good draft, you haven't had a really solid draft in a while. I mean, that's not entirely true.
Well,
They just won 2
ago.
Super Bowls. But I don't know. There more is needed. And if Kelsey retires, goddamn, more is needed.
They're gonna need an overhaul on offense. Badly.
Yeah. It's really quite interesting because the AFC might kind of shift around here. You texted me at the beginning of the season and you were like, or like before one of the Chiefs games, and you were like, this is going to be like a different Mahomes. Like, Mahomes is going to be looked at differently. And while I'm not going to say yes to that yet, I do think that this could be the start of that. He got his shit kicked in,
Yeah, well, they were talking about it a lot. I'm even seeing a lot of narrative, and granted, it's Twitter, and Twitter's kind of a hellhole. But just from the brief time that the game ended, and now people are saying, okay, let's stop all that GOAT talk, and people were talking about how great Tom Brady was, and even Tom Brady talked about how much these losses really pile up.
Yeah, he called them a nightmare.
Yeah. So I agree. This is going to pump the brakes big time on the Patrick Mahomes. The way that people look at Patrick Mahomes until they make the Super Bowl next year. Because they're not going to be a bad team next year. They're going to be in the playoffs. They'll be competitive as long as they have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. All right. So, but I agree with you. There are going to people. The cracks are already forming.
Yeah. And like, where do you go from here? Again, do you just like draft a tackle and just hope for the best?
I mean, that's what they need.
And then just draft bunch of skill position players,
Let's look at it this way. D-Hop is probably gone. even if he's not gone, he's not a contributor,
He's not a number one.
right? Kelsey, I don't think Kelsey is coming back, but he's again similar, not the same player.
Chiefs, you want a third for Olave?
Shit, you give him up for that?
I don't know.
That wouldn't be horrible, to be honest. But they're going to need a couple tackles.
A second would
I think
be nice.
I think they could use both tackles, right? Because like I just mentioned, they have Joe Thuney playing outside, and then
Trey Smith, yeah.
and Trey Smith is going to be gone because they're not going to be able to afford him because the dude's going
No.
to get paid so much, probably by like somebody like the Bears. So that whole offense,
Oh man.
and now they need a running back. You're not going to hope that Kareem Hunt's going to have another season like that again. Like they lucked
What
out. that
Kareem?
Hunt played so well.
Kareem Hunt? Well, Isaiah Pacheco will still be there, and he is
But
a solid boom to a zoom. They just
He's
need to
coming
zoom.
back from injury, but he has not looked like the same player. Maybe they rushed him back a little too early. I don't know, but he looked very rough to end the season.
It's very easy to have this kind of reaction, but like, I don't
Yeah, we're only a couple
I don't
hours removed.
quite understand. Like, this could get bad. No,
Again, I think with Mahomes and Andy Reid, I don't think it'll ever get bad to the point where it's like you're
I mean
questioning-
relative to them.
Yes, like not making the Super Bowl is bad to them.
Yeah,
So then, yeah, it could get bad,
Oh man.
and I'm all for it. I'm here for the
You know
downfall.
what? It would be very interesting just to have the Bills or the Bengals or the Ravens in the Super
Or
Bowl
the Colts, yeah.
or the Colts
Yeah.
or the Colts.
No, I mean, there's gonna be a good little shift in the AFC. All these young quarterbacks, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud. You know, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is still so young. I hate
And
the
their
guy.
division is hard. They're
division's
gonna
good.
have a hard division. You got Jim Harbaugh coming at you.
Pete Carroll's there now. Shit.
Good old Petey Carroll.
And there's reports that Russell Wilson might land in New York with the Jets.
That would be funny. Please let that happen. Because I saw this. I saw the Steelers
see that too?
are done with him.
Colin, some not breaking news because there's not really news, but I saw a report that Nick Sirianni's making a push to keep Kellen Moore. Did you see that?
You know what? I wasn't gonna mention it, but I did. Yes, I did. Did get that Bleacher Report notification. Let's see how many minutes ago it was.
That'd be devastating for the Saints. No, where would you pivot?
It's 17 minutes ago. Oh God. I don't know. Just make Zion Williamson the coach. I don't know.
All right, okay.
No,
Lou.
that's the thing is like I truly don't know, because this is, I think so many coaches can just take one look at this job and just know that you're probably going to get fired in a year. Like that is probably what is going to happen. I have no idea. I think either way, no matter who it is, it's not going to be good. Unless the only thing that will make us good is if we draft off an offensive lineman who's good, or Trevor Penning suddenly decides to be a good football player, and then Spencer Rattler also just decides to be fucking great. But those two things aren't happening. Mickey Loomis is going to draft a defensive end who nobody's heard of, who's projected in the 3rd round. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, this was my TED Talk.
I mean, if I were Kellen Moore, I know he's been trying to be a head coach for like what? This is like the third cycle where he's been getting.
Shit, I'd stay. What the fuck?
I'd stay too.
I would absolutely, as a Saints fan, I'm telling you, Kellen Moore, for your mental health, stay with the fucking Eagles. Have Jalen Hurts and Jeff Stoutland just helping you out.
Because that wouldn't be good for the Eagles either. That'd be three offensive coordinators in 3 years. Would not be good.
No.
Yeah, I'd stay.
I absolutely, I would stay. Vic Fangio, I think deserves a lot of credit. I I was critical of him in our preview, and I was proven wrong, and that's okay. He not only outcoached Spags, but or not outcoached Spags, but had a better performance than
Yeah.
the guy on the other
Outcoached Andy
sideline. He outcoached Andy Reid. Like this was I'm sorry, Nick Sirianni, this was not your coaching performance. This was Vic Fangio like putting belt to ass, and Kellen Moore just taking advantage of Vic Fangio putting belt to ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Vic Fangio was what this team needed. Who did they have? Who did they have last year? Was Vic Fangio with the team last year? This is first
No,
year.
he was with Miami, I think.
Who was it? It was not. I couldn't tell you who it was, but I remember it being very.
No, it was
not a good situation.
he was no, it was like split, remember? Wasn't it like
Yeah, there were two guys running it. Yes.
because the Eagles like came out 11-0, and then they fired their defensive coordinator after like being 11-0.
I remember that.
It's
What
fucking
a
weird.
shit show.
Yeah.
And then Fangio was like consulting with the Dolphins.
No, he was fully a D coordinator.
Hmm.
At least I'm pretty sure that's how that
I
was.
think you're right.
And now he's
Up to York.
just left. So now I think since 2000, the Eagles have the most playoff wins in the NFC. They have 2 Super Bowls, which is, I believe, tied for the most in the NFC, right?
In that time period?
In that time period, because it's only the Bucks who have 2, the Giants who have 2.
In how long? What'd you say?
Since 2000.
2000? Yeah, shit, I guess.
Yeah, so for 25 years, the Eagles, there's an argument to be made that the Eagles have been the best team in the NFC.
Crazy, because I remember how big of a deal it was in 2017 when they were winning their first title.
Yeah.
Here we are.
It's really crazy to think that, holy shit, these guys are probably the best NFC team of the past 25 years, just in terms of consistency, just maintaining talent. They've done a really good job. And, again, I think that's Jeffrey Lurie. I think that's, fucking Howie Roseman. They've just done so well. Literally since they let go of Chip Kelly, like they have been great. And that's just so funny to me.
Poor Chip Kelly. Dude gets a bad rep.
Oh, come on. He's got a job. He's fine. He's fine. He's back in the NFL. Chip Kelly and fucking Josh McDaniel are back calling plays. We are so back.
Is Chip Kelly with the Raiders? Who's he with?
I think
so.
Pretty sure he's.
Yeah, he is.
Because he's
Raiders.
because he's with what's his name, Pete Carroll.
Is Josh McDaniels the offensive coordinator? I totally remember seeing that, and I didn't process. I didn't think anything of it. Holy shit!
Yeah, he went back to New England, which is so funny.
Yikes!
Yeah, interesting times. Anything else on this Super Bowl before we get out of here?
Bittersweet, man. We're gonna have a long. What is it? 7 months, 8 months, 6 months.
Yeah, the next podcast about football we do is probably going to be a draft reaction, I would say. And then maybe we'll do a free agency thing. Probably not, but we'll keep ourselves open to it.
Real quick, we didn't do it before the season. I wish we did, but now that we're here, I'd love to hear quick thoughts on the NFL honors because we filmed before.
Oh yeah. Man, I really thought Lamar was going to win MVP. I thought his numbers were better. When I saw he was first team All Pro, I really thought that he was going to get it. But, Josh Allen is now the third person to win MVP and not be first team All Pro. And, yeah, that's where we're at.
the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know. I didn't think that Patrick Surtain was the best corner in the league this season, but I also thought that it was a little weird defensive player of the year conversation because there was like a bunch of options that like at least three options where you could argue them. And if Aiden Hutchinson doesn't get injured, that would have been a fourth option.
That'd have been a runaway.
Because he was on track.
I agree.
Yeah.
Pat Surtain wasn't even the best defender on his team.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm okay with Josh Allen winning it, but the reasoning behind Lamar not getting it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same voters. If they vote for him to be first team all quarterback, should have been, you're voting for him to be the best quarterback in the NFL. How can he not be? How do you pick the guy that's you're admitting is not as good as him?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me, but hey, is what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I think you're right. I think they were hesitant to give it to Lamar because of his lack of playoff success. Like he would have had
there's definitely voter fatigue with Lamar.
3 MVPs. The record is 5. That's
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And who else has 4? Rodgers and who else? Favre?
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, but it's still just like, oh man, I thought it would go to Lamar. Just thought he was better.
It's gonna be a long off season. Both our teams suck so bad, Colin.
Dude, yeah. I don't know what the Saints are doing. But you know what? In times where I've been like, oh, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Sometimes Mickey Loomis just pulls a rabbit like out of his hat, and it's like, boom, we're competing. Let's go. So
You never know.
it's really hard, and especially like, I never got sucked into the 2-0 start. I never did. And I made the prediction after we were 2-0 or we were 2-2. I said after this game, we will not be over 500 for the rest of the season. And I was correct.
You gotta
But
speak
yeah,
into existence next time, man.
What'd you say?
So you gotta speak it into existence next time, you know?
I did though.
But
I
you gotta
said it on the
speak other way.
podcast. Oh.
You gotta be positive.
Derek Carr's my quarterback, man. Like what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, we got anything else on this game?
Nothing else on this game, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Brutal betting
Commercials were
night
asked.
for us.
Yeah, commercials were and that's kind of been the trend, right? Commercials is not even worth watching for that anymore, but
I thought there was like one or two that were fine.
what
But
was
there
with
was
that
a lot of
last commercial?
a lot of like kind of cringy commercials, like the Tom Brady Snoop Dogg.
I saw that beforehand, but
Let's
yes.
Stop Hate, and I'm like Snoop Dogg, like probably committed a murder, like, and we have him doing what now?
And he also went back. Okay, I get political. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no,
the Mountain Dew Baja Blast commercial I'm talking about though. With the seal.
The one with A Kiss from a Rose. Yeah,
that was.
As somebody who's done Kiss from a Rose in karaoke, I kind of enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it was I remember it. Stood out.
It definitely stood out.
But another year down for us, Colin.
Another year down. How about it? Kind of crazy.
Maybe next year we'll get some new teams to talk about.
I mean, who do you like? If there's going to be a team that's really solid who comes out of nowhere, similar to like the Commanders this year? Who do you think it's going to be?
I'm hoping. Okay, the two that were very, 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 very close. Lions and Bills come to mind. It's been a while since the Ravens have been in the Super Bowl. I don't know if I see any like teams just popping out of nowhere, you know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Got a long time to think about it.
Got a long time to think about it. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you for sticking with us through this lovely football season that ended in exactly the way that both of us wanted the entire time, as we all know. Yeah, appreciate you, AJ, for doing these with me. Always great to jump in the pod. And yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to recruiting you to come talk about the Spurs when the Spurs are suddenly the 6th seed and get a first round. You know, don't have to go to the play-in. I'm looking forward to talking to you about that.
We'll see.
But yeah, you know, this is the end of the season. Kind of crazy. We'll probably do a draft podcast just to get reactions. Oh, we'll definitely do a draft podcast. Just because we have a Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders thing that I think we disagree on.
Big time.
Yeah. Cam Ward, number 1. Come on now. QB1.
We got the scouting combine in like a couple weeks already, no?
I think it's like a month from now because the draft is late April and the combine is always like a
Combine
month.
is the 27th.
Of February?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I remember it being pretty close.
Damn. Well, anyway, we'll probably do a football pod. Oh, I don't know. Depending on what happened. If the Saints hiring gets really out of control, we might have to do a football podcast about that.
An emergency.
But, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Other than that, look forward to a basketball podcast. I want to get one in before the All-Star break, just to do a nice little check-in. And, yeah, AJ, appreciate you. Thanks for joining.
Anytime, my man. Anytime.
Hope you have a good night, and let's go Bills.
Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.